What's up guys and girls, Kurt here, I hope you're well. And today I've got a question from James. James wants to know, when you first start out in Krav Maga, what additional out of class training should we be doing? Okay, and that's a really good question. Now firstly, all the advice that I give in this video, I suggest that you do all throughout your Krav Maga journey. These tips are very useful, and these tips are ones that I still do now as an expert in Krav Maga. So irrespective, these are tips that go throughout your journey in Krav Maga. Now firstly, I recommend that you build good strength, mobility, and cardio, aerobic threshold. Basically, if you want to perform at a higher level in Krav Maga or in any sport or any martial art or self-defense, whatever it is you do, you need to increase your heart rate, like your ability to handle more in terms of cardio, right? So I recommend you take on like 2 to 3 days where you're doing some form of cardio training. Could be high intensity interval training or something like a LISS, low intensity solid state training. Basically something that's raising your heart rate at least past 60% of its max on a regular basis. Every couple of days, 2 to 3 times a week or more is a good start. Okay, so just get your ability to handle more. I suggest you also look at some strength and conditioning, okay, and you might already do this, but for those that don't, maybe some weights, pull-ups, body weight training, okay, kettlebell. It doesn't have to be stock standard like a bodybuilder type training. You just need to find something that's going to help you build some strength in your legs, your upper body, and your core, your midsection. All of these are going to make you more explosive and more functional for Krav Maga. And then obviously with that, some mobility. I see a lot of students become really tense and tight through the training. So you want to take on some form of like mobility, stretching, maybe yoga, maybe Pilates, maybe capoeira. That's up to you. It doesn't have to be something formal. Even if you take like 5 to 10 minutes a day or every couple of days, just really working and stretching and holding stretches. And these days you've got a lot of resources to help you with that. So get online, get on YouTube, get on Google, and search for some easy to do exercises. It really depends on how far you want to go with that. Next, I would recommend that you practice what you learn in class at home. Okay, a lot of my students, and a lot of students in general, I see this all over the place. They'll go to 1 or 2 classes a week, and maybe more, right? But they never, when they get home, they don't really think about it, and everything stops there. When you take on a martial art, a self-defense system, Krav Maga, right? When you take on Krav Maga, you really want to ensure that you're starting to own it. Now, I understand that not everyone's going to do this, but you want to try to be thinking about this stuff outside of class, visualizing, thinking, and connecting things that you've done in class. So for example, if you've done an inside defense in class, okay, inside defense like this, go home and practice it. Maybe a day or 2 later, practice it again for 5 to 10 minutes. Think about how you would use it. You need to create like a mental and physical connection so that the things that you're learning, you're actually like holding onto and retaining. Focus on the basics. A lot of students in Krav Maga tend to try to get too advanced and jump too far forward too quickly. Remember, the basics are the bread and butter of Krav Maga, and all systems, all things. The basics are what connects everything together, and the stronger your fundamentals, the stronger you're going to be once you get to that intermediate and advanced level. So always practice the basics, the punches, the kicks, the elbows and knees, the footwork, and the general mentality, the principles. These are the things that really make a strong Krav Maga student. You also want to take on some shadow fighting, which is like shadow boxing, except it's with elbows, knees, okay, kicks, self-defense techniques. So literally where you might be moving around, practicing your punches, practicing your defenses, okay, and just really flowing with your movement. I suggest you do this on a regular basis. It might feel weird initially, all right, but it helps you to really own your Krav Maga, own your movement, all right, because typically when you say, let's shadow fight, students like, and they don't know what to do. But once you start to engage the mind and visualize, you visualize someone throwing a punch at you and yourself doing the inside defense or doing the body defense and then coming back and countering. These are the sort of things that you're going to build. Not only are you going to get the repetition of the techniques, but you're going to really build that mental, physical connection so that you've got context and so that it's just becoming part of you. I never have seen high-level students who don't do this, and those that do are the ones that get to that highest level. It's just a fact. Okay, so make sure that you shadow fight, get used to it, learn, grow. That's going to help you develop. I also recommend that you get onto a bag. Now, any tool that a boxer or a kickboxer or Muay Thai guy would use, I think is really valuable for Krav Maga. But in this case, I would suggest you get a bag, practice your punches, practice your kicks, your elbows, your knees, practice all of your stuff. It's going to help you to develop a powerful strike. It's going to help you with your technique and fundamentals. You can really tell the difference between someone who works the bag and shadow fights regularly compared to someone who doesn't. Get something you can whack, whether it's a stand-up bag, okay, or one that's hanging, but this is like something that's bread and butter to Krav Maga, so you definitely need one of them. Practice with friends. Obviously, right? Friends, family, kids, anyone who's willing. One of the best ways that you can really learn to retain the information that you learn at Krav Maga systems, okay, or wherever you train, is to teach. So let's say you learn a technique, go home, teach your wife, teach your girlfriend, teach your friends, okay, your boyfriend, whoever. Okay, teach it as much as you can and get people to come and train with you. If you can train outside of class with family and friends, you're definitely going to help retain the information that you learn, and you're definitely going to improve your Krav Maga. Ultimately, also, you want to be creative, right? So think of ways that you can train by yourself. And one way that I can tell you right now, and a lot of students do, is they move around the house pretending to do drills. I know it sounds childish, but most of us are pretty childlike in our nature at the end of the day when no one's watching. So, moving around the house, coming out of a corner, seeing an attacker, like pretending there's a home invasion or whatever it is you want. At the end of the day, be creative. But as I said, a lot of students of mine tell me that they run around their house, or their wives tell me actually, or girlfriends or partners tell me that they run around the house acting like a lunatic and saying, hey, throw a punch at me, and doing stuff like that. So be creative, and ultimately it's your journey. On top of that, and this is a little out of context, I just wanted to say that diet and lifestyle is so important to help you improve in Krav Maga. And that sounds like, what? You need to rest, you need to recover. Don't overtrain, okay? Make sure that you're taking time to sharpen the saw and you're getting better and recovering the body. It really makes a big difference when you do that. Ensure that your diet is adequate to fuel your body and your mind. You need to have good fats, good protein, carbohydrates. Another tip I want to give is for you to consider cross-training. Consider doing another sport or another hobby. I have a student who was really deep into Krav Maga and BJJ, and it was just getting to him, so he decided to take on a hobby, archery, and he feels a lot better about his life, because at the end of the day, you want to have a nice balanced life, doing what you love, but ensuring that you're balanced and doing all the things that you love, and that you don't become too fixated on one task. That said, for all of you Krav Maga lovers and those of you who go hard and are obsessed, respect. Thanks guys. Cheers.